Just lost my train of thought because I have had a bit of the demon weed, but so let me have a thought.
Let me have a thought. I've lost it. No, I'm good. I've just lost my train of thought completely.
This is Unplanned America, where you're invited to join Parv, Gonzo, and me, Nick, as we flee Australia to road trip around the land of the free in search of the weird, wonderful, mysterious, and sometimes scary, unplanned side of America. This week we smoke the peace pipe with advocates of the legal cannabis revolution in the USA. Later on, Stephanie, Nancy, and Matt tell us of their experiences with medical marijuana. But first up, we get recreational in Denver.
It's interesting to see this become legalized and then gay marriage legalized and all these other things. It seems like Colorado is definitely a leader for all the other states, but it's a very accepting state.
It's the Unplanned Zone! Colorado is at the forefront of a cannabis revolution. Medical marijuana has been legal there since 2005, but in November 2012, a state law was passed to make recreational cannabis and hemp totally legal. As of 2014, you can walk into a dispensary and buy an ounce of weed as easily as buying a six-pack. We're in Denver to get an insight into the booming new cannabis industry, and what better way to do so than to join a band of merry gunja tourists on what's pretty much a pub crawl for pot.
So we're at a hotel in downtown Denver. The tour is just about to start. Everyone's piled onto the bus. We're going with the operator. His name is Jason Green. Couldn't think of a more appropriate name for somebody who's running a weed tour.
The first stop on our tour de pot was an industrial growing facility known as LeConte's Grow. This place grows over 20 varieties of weed, which all end up in its dispensary stores in Denver's CBD.
Do you reckon there has been an increase in consumption, or what's your take on that? What do you think?
Yeah, you've got more people enjoying it, and I think it's just because it's acceptable. And now it's legal, and they get to do it without feeling guilty or feeling like they're doing something illegal. So, yeah, it's far more acceptable, so a lot more people do it.
Since its legalization, the marijuana industry has produced almost $300 million in revenue, 28% of which goes to the state in tax.
It is tax high, and that's okay. The first $60 million went to education, and by mid-next year, they'll have the first $50 million to the police departments, which is a huge deal, or to law enforcement. So, I mean, we're definitely making money, and it's definitely going to help our economy and our society.
We started getting to know our fellow potheads to see what it's like for smokers riding Denver's revolutionary marijuana wave. I'm standing here with Auntie Roxanne, and she's on the bus with us. Why do you think that pot smokers, why do they come with these tours?
I think the stigma and the prohibition of it for so long, especially the stigma of marijuana being evil and bad, and people have known for years that it's not. We can do this. I mean, we can actually do this, and it's fun.
So I'm here with Tyler and Tara, who are taking part in the tour today. Now, you guys are here for a special reason. Can you tell us what brings you on this tour today?
It's our honeymoon.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, we just figured, you know, our honeymoon should just be an example of what makes us happy and what we love. Why don't we just cut out the middleman? We want to go to Denver.
And why do you think it's a good thing that cannabis has become legal?
I really think there's a place in society for medical marijuana everywhere. Recreationally, the money, the revenue, it's opened jobs here. I mean, people are moving here, we're building. So obviously it's doing something for the economy.
Evidence seems to back up Auntie Roxanne, with 60+ dispensaries opening, creating new jobs, and a booming weed tourism industry bringing folks like our newlyweds in from other states to spend money in Colorado.
I'm sure our professionalism will wane towards the end, and
It's time to punch the clock.
Punch the clock, punch the cone.
We were finally ready to blaze. And who better to give Gonzo his first hit on a weed vaporizer than tour organizer Jason Green.
It's just like a vape cigarette or anything like that.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is professional. I'm doing a My 420 tour, so I should get involved with the tour. Should I have a couple of draws or just one? I have one more bit.
If you have two, then I'm going to have to, be in control. 3.
Third time lucky. Just lost my train of thought because I have had a bit of the demon weed, but so let me have a thought.
let me have a thought. I've lost it. No, I'm good. I've just lost my train of thought completely.
The next pot stop was LeConte's Medical and Recreational Dispensary. These places operate just like liquor stores, where anyone over 21 can come in and choose from a huge range of cannabis products.
So tell us about the ending prohibition, how it is a good thing.
Honestly, I'm from a state just over Nebraska, and if someone would come in my house and I potentially was smoking weed and, you know, in my room after my child's in bed, then they can come in and take your family, put your kid in a foster home. Tobacco kills 500,000 people a year. You know, a teenager has $100 and goes and blows it on booze. There's a good chance they might not come home that night, you know. So it's really astonishing, you know, where our laws are. But it's, like I said, it's on the upswing, and hemp legalization is probably even more beneficial.
Prior to being criminalised, hemp was widely grown in the States, counting Presidents Washington, Jackson and Jefferson among just some of those who farmed it. The plant also played an integral part in America's Second World War effort, used for uniforms, canvas and rope.
Wasn't going to smoke weed today to stay professional and have a clear head, but being in this bus, I think I'm definitely going to get stoned. That's a fact, there's no avoiding it.
You, what I need, yeah, you've got it, babe. What I need, you got love and oh, I'm in pain. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Our final stop was the Illusions Glass Gallery, where a mind-blowing range of glass sculptures were on display, with the most valuable piece in the gallery, the throne, fetching over $100,000. Incredibly, every single beautiful piece in the gallery was able to be used for smoking, and it was a testament to how the Sticky Icky has influenced artists ever since it was discovered. It was art meets weed, and we were high enough to enjoy it big time.
Look at these people sitting in the fucking... Where? What the...
This shit is unbelievable, and we're stoned, which ramps it up by about 10 times,
So
but it is literally
get your
mind-blowing.
television at this moment and adjust the settings to like 100% brightness and maybe what else, 100% contrast.
Or just hit yourself over the head with something and then watch this next part, because this stuff is amazing.
Bang, bang. Bang, bang.
What are you doing? For some reason, Nick just basically barked at me.
Bang, bang. It's too much. It's good. It's too much.
Colorado is doing everything right. And that's what I'm told, that Colorado is the example state. What to do right, what not to do.
The legalisation debate rages on in the US, but no matter which side you support, there is a palpable sense of inevitability as more states keep following Colorado's lead.
So the tour is over. I've got 2 bags and a jacket. I'm not sure who they belong to. All in all, it was a raging success, wouldn't you say, Nick? I'm exhausted. I think I need a beer.
Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper was probably right when he called marijuana legalisation the most ambitious social experiment of the 21st century. The friendly folk at Denver's My 420 tours had given us a rose-coloured look at life in a world where marijuana is totally legal. But next it was time to meet 3 people who rely on medical cannabis as a treatment for serious illness. 57-year-old Nancy started life as a happy child, but was struck with crippling depression as a teenager. She now lives in Colorado, the frontier for legal cannabis in the USA.
I had an overwhelming gloom and went to a doctor who diagnosed me with major depressive disorder. They were not very thorough. They did no blood tests. At that point, I was put on quite a few antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, antipsychotic medications. I was a cheerleader in high school and a straight-A student. As a result of having all those medications in me, though, I withdrew pretty much from school. My personality changed. I was just depressed. When I was 19, I was in a car accident where I broke my back. So doctors gave me more medications, lots of narcotics.
Nancy spent her whole life on a cocktail of medications that had a profoundly negative effect on her state of mind and health, while not even adequately treating her ailments. Many years after her first diagnosis, doctors found a totally different condition, which finally gave an insight into why she was depressed in the first place.
I had a parathyroidectomy and a thyroidectomy, which ultimately became the cause of why I really was sick. I didn't have major depressive disorder. I had a bad endocrine system.
So when was that sort of finally diagnosed or recognised as being?
A couple of years ago.
Right.
So
it's
until
sort of 40
then,
years of...
Yes, I've been on all these medications for all this time, and finally became pretty suicidal. Lost everything, lost my job, my home, my second husband, and was desperately looking for a way to kind of cure myself.
Next, we travelled to Wisconsin, a state where cannabis is very much illegal, but that cancer patient Matt calls home.
I got the cancer at 30, so about 8 years ago. It's located in a very rare spot that far into my rectum. Before the surgery, I told the surgeon, I said, I don't want to wake up with a colostomy bag. My grandfather had a colostomy bag. I took care of him for years, so I knew all about it, and you know, racing jet skis and wearing wetsuits, you can't have a colostomy bag. So when I woke up, he's like, well, we didn't give you a colostomy bag, but we couldn't get all of it without compromising your rectum, you know, your ass. I've been on the chemo ever since and steadily gotten stronger and stronger narcotics to help me with the pain, to where I was taking 90 milligrams of morphine a day, 60 milligrams of Oxycontin a day, Xanax to sedate me at night, and Adderall to get me going in the morning, and Ambien to put me out finally at night. Like, I used to just constantly shake. My eye used to twitch and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, it's just from, I don't know, my chemo or stuff. But no, it was just from all the other drugs. To get hooked on drugs, not knowing you're getting hooked on drugs that you're getting legally, for the last 8 years, I feel like I've been like underground and just in a daze, in a stupor. I don't want to be on that anymore. I don't like the way that it makes me feel or not feel. I'm really pissed that it happened. It happened like unknowingly. I don't blame it, you know, I don't blame the doctors or anyone, but I didn't really realize how much all of that was changing who I was. Now people are coming up and telling me, oh, I thought you were on coke or something. I was like, really? That's what I was like? And they're like, yeah, and you're slurring your words and you'd nod off. I'm like, why didn't someone slap me? And you know, and eventually that's what happened. And they were like, you gotta change. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. Being on the pills for 8 years and now being off them, it literally, the best way to describe it, and I'm not religious, but my body, it feels like I'm born again. And it feels like I'm 20-something again instead of 38.
Back in Colorado, we visited Stephanie and her 4-year-old son, Paul, who was born a healthy baby boy, but whose chronic disabilities were formed at a young age due to epilepsy.
He has a genetic deletion called STX-BP1, and it caused seizures when he was 6 or 7 months old till he was about a year. It caused detrimental things to his growth. And he can't talk, walk, feed himself. He has a feeding tube to get his hydration. So it really, he was born typical, and the seizures just took away all of that, which we're slowly getting back, but that's what they did. The seizures did. So they first gave him a medicine called Sabril. You know, it can take away his peripheral vision. Possibly gave him a stroke. We're going to find out about that. We switched to steroid shots. Just think about even a grown man, you know, it's on steroids, or anybody can cause aggression. Mm-hmm. He was mad, angry, crying. He just stopped smiling. I mean, he just wasn't there. His seizures stopped when he was a year, but then because of his genetic deletion, they'd always said that his seizures could come back. And they thought he was going to start seizing again at any time. So instead of starting another pharmaceutical, I decided to try cannabis.
Like young Paul's, Nancy's pharmaceuticals were causing more harm than good, and she decided to lose her 17 pills a day and switch to cannabis. She used it to ease the detoxing from a shocking 40 years of medications wrongly prescribed when a thyroid disease was misdiagnosed as depression when she was a teenager.
What was your kind of view on drugs, or cannabis rather, prior to that?
Being from Texas, kind of in the Bible Belt, I believed the propaganda. I believed that marijuana was the gateway drug, that it was basically evil, and nobody should be doing it. So it was kind of a radical change for me to even explore the idea of using cannabis as a medical alternative. I was scared to death of trying to find a drug dealer. That was very frightening to me in Texas. So I moved to Colorado.
We were exploring the personal side of the medical marijuana debate, speaking with 3 medicinal users of cannabis. Stephanie uses CBD oil to treat her son Paul's seizures, the same cannabis oil Nancy uses for her various ailments, while Matt used marijuana to treat the debilitating symptoms arising from his cancer and chemotherapy. He told us about life after his 8 years on 6 different types of strong and addictive medications.
So tell us about the effects that the cannabis has and how it's replaced the other pills you were taking.
It doesn't get rid of the pain, it just helps me think about other things, so I'm not sitting here thinking, oh, my ass hurts. I'm able to do other things and engage my brain in other activities. I don't have any appetite, and so in order to eat, wake up in the morning, take a couple hits, and then my stomach is settled down and I'm able to eat. That is the most important thing for me using it, because I don't have to take any pills for my stomach anymore. To me, that's like the answer for everything.
After doing her own research, Nancy discovered CBD oil, a derivative of cannabis with hardly any high associated with it. She uses it to treat depression, anxiety, digestive issues, migraines, pain, and the PTSD caused by her serious car accident.
I've been on it now for about 9 months. It has dramatically changed my life. I can feel my body healing on a daily basis. I am now active in the community. I can function with other people. I've also started eating healthier. I started exercising. Spiritually, I restored my relationship with God. Just everything in my life has just gotten into a good balance.
We just do 0.02 mLs twice a day, which is 1.5 milligrams per day. Yeah, you ready to have some of your medicine? Yeah. There you go. Good boy. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Pretty easy. For Paul, at least, what's been amazing are all the positive side effects that have happened with him. He said mama after starting CBD oil, which he was 3. It was the first time he's done that. He's sitting up a lot better. He can feed himself now with a bottle, whereas before he couldn't do that. He's maintaining eye contact with people. He can go in a swing. So there's a lot of really neat side effects.
So how soon after starting the CBD oil did some of that stuff start?
Well, he started saying mama within like 2 weeks. There you go. Before he just had a bottle, and then there was kind of a straw that he would suck the milk through. But he could not hold it. I mean, he definitely couldn't lift it. And I don't know if it was just the being off the pharmaceutical or CBD oil, I don't know what, but now he can feed himself.
Quite amazing.
Yeah.
Do you find that there's some negativity or stigma attached to this course of treatment?
I think that because it's federally illegal and there haven't been formal studies done, so people, think that we're just, endangering our children, or saying that, well, cannabis can cause long-term cognitive effects for children. But the thing that I don't think they think about is that, we've been told that it's highly unlikely that Paul would live until 17. So for us, we're not worried about 15 years down the road. We're looking for a treatment that we can use right away that's safe, which seems, cannabis is safer than traditional pharmaceuticals. And we're seeing really positive side effects.
Painfully, many medicinal users of cannabis have to leave family members in other states just to get the legal treatment that Colorado provides.
My family's from Wyoming. If I was to take Paul to Wyoming and he was to have a seizure and we went to the hospital and they saw he had THC, I could be charged with child abuse. If I took his medicines, it takes so much cannabis to make that oil, it's drug trafficking. So I would be charged as a drug trafficker.
You're sort of a marijuana refugee, though, because obviously it's not medically legal in Texas, and there's a few states where it is.
My family is in Texas. I can't go home to Texas. I cannot leave the state of Colorado with my medicine. You can be arrested and put in federal prison if you have your medicine with you. If I try to drive out of the state because I have Colorado license plates, I will be stopped. It's almost a guarantee I'm going to be stopped and searched. So yeah, I'm here. I can't leave.
Matt lives in a state where cannabis is still illegal, so faces a much greater risk.
So how's your growing skills? Are they getting better and better?
They're getting better and better every time, yeah. It's a great hobby. I can see now how people like tomatoes and doing all the gardening and stuff. It really does help take your mind off of other shit and help you relax. This is my marijuana. It was picked a little premature, but that's how I like it. It's easier on my stomach. It's a little less harsh on my lungs. And it's covered in crystals.
So you must be proud of that?
Yeah, I am. To be able to create your own medicine, I mean, and for that to be illegal is just ridiculous.
So is cannabis in the same class as hard narcotics?
No, heroin is a class 2 because there's medical value in heroin. I mean, morphine's just basically a cleaner version of heroin for, and that's what they had me on, was basically legal heroin. I would just like to use a little bit of cannabis, and yet I'm classified as a bigger criminal now. It's gonna take more people like me to come out and say, this is what I do, there's nothing wrong with it, why am I a criminal? And let's fix this problem.
Because of all of my health conditions, doctors see me coming in and that they get out their script pad. They are more than happy to give me any narcotic I want. It's kind of gotten to be a sick system that needs to be fixed, and we as patients need to step forward and say and demand that we have access to legal cannabis.
And what do you think is going to take for other states to jump on board?
I think that when you see an epileptic child seizing and it breaks your heart, and then you see them take their first dose of CBD oil and their seizure stops, it's mind-blowing. And I think that the parents of these kids is what is going to change the laws.
Every child should have the opportunity, especially children with severe epilepsy like Paul, or cancer, have the choice to try it. When we've tried 5, 6 different medicines and it's not working, and there is something out there that is helping some children, it's not gonna help everybody. But every child should have the opportunity. It doesn't matter the zip code, the country, it's just a right that everyone should have. I never thought I'd use it as a medicine for my son. I mean, even 2 years ago, it hadn't even crossed my mind. But now I'm so thankful and grateful. So that's why I talk about it to anyone that I can, because it's been so wonderful for our family. To be able to feed himself, we're hoping someday that he's gonna be able to sit and walk, and to have hope again has just been, it's amazing. Just a simple thing like hope, and that's what cannabis has given us. And and for him to be able to say mama and let us know when he's upset, yes. It's been a miracle.
Like any medication, cannabis can have negative side effects in some users. But for the patients we spoke to, medical marijuana has been a godsend, replacing harmful or misprescribed pharmaceuticals and giving them nothing less than a new lease on life. California was the first state to legalise cannabis for medical use in 1996, originally for patients with AIDS, cancer and other chronic illnesses to utilise the drug for treatment. We decided to give it a go, and Pav went undercover to see if he could get his hands on a licence to treat his migraines.
Apparently it's really easy to get your weed licence down on Venice Beach. So we're doing some weird police-style operation where I'm going in wearing a wire.
It's so funny because it's not illegal.
Why'd you have to put so much tape on?
You should have put just the tiniest little bit.
Oh.
What? Anyway, put your shirt over.
That. Hello, can I buy some marijuana? Testing 1 marijuana. So how's this work?
Well, you just follow me in here if you have some sort of ailments, and we can introduce you to a doctor.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, just take a seat. What's your name?
Pavo. I get migraines, I get them like my whole life pretty much.
Okay, you can just stand up. So I'm just gonna have to check your breathing.
Yep.
Just lift your shirt up, please.
Sure, man. How long you been a doctor for?
25 years. Please just lift your shirt up.
Medically marijuana certified. There's my certificate, which now I can go to the dispensaries and buy marijuana. He got me to stand up, and I realized this is about to get me to take my shirt up so he could be like, breathe in, breathe out, turn around, breathe in, breathe out. And of course, Gonz has strapped this like wire to my chest like fucking crazy. So I'm talking to the guy, just trying to like delay while trying to be discreetly like up my shirt, pulling this fucking tape off my chest, pulling all my hairs out, just being like, yeah, man, migraines, they're terrible. It's like, and then like stuffing them down my pants. So now I've got all the tape just like stuck to my pubes. So that's gonna be a whole new adventure that I have to look forward to. But this should help me get through that.
You should have said you needed it for anxiety. I get quite anxious when I'm wearing a wire.
I get quite anxious when I'm wearing a wire into a fucking marijuana operation.
It's the Unplanned Zone! KGMC, Wagwan! Unplanned America coming at ya! It's the Unplanned Rhythm. You wait, original! You wait, original! Wagwan, Gonzo, Pavo, Nicolas!